take a look at this watch. How much do you reckon it costs? Well, I bet you're wrong. You see, this watch is far more affordable than you might think. It's not perfect, but I think Bulova's created something that's at least worth knowing about. Indeed, it's the classically American brand responsible for this timepiece, known as the Precisionist for reasons I'll soon get into. I've looked at two previous offerings from this citizen subsidiary, and I thought both offered solid value for money as well as pleasing original designs. But this one, it takes things up a notch. Thanks to Amazon for covering the cost of this piece. It's affiliate linked in the video description if you want to pick one up for yourself. You'll also find a link to today's sponsor, WatchCrunch. WatchCrunch is a new platform made specifically for better watch discussions. It was built by a group of fellow watch nerds who were tired of the negativity and flex culture propagated on other platforms. Instagram. They wanted to create something more inviting, friendly, and productive. Unlike many old school forums that look straight out of the Stone Age, WatchCrunch has a slick interface that allows for an intuitive and digestible experience. No, not that type of digestible, that type of digestible. On WatchCrunch, you'll find loads of community-driven posts, including reviews, polls, articles, videos, and discussions, as well as handy tools to help you customize your experience. You can select what brands you're interested in, as well as receive unique badges and perks based on your contributions to the platform. New features are being added all the time, and it's free to use. What are you waiting for? Click the link in the video description. Give it a try, and let me know what you think. Okay, the packaging is just your standard Bulova packaging, nothing out of the ordinary there. Within, though, you're met with one of the most captivating dials that I've ever seen. It's constituted of a swirling backdrop of alternating dark and light lines that combine to create a highly convincing ridge-like illusion. At first, I thought these were real ridges, but on a super macro level, you can see the clever trickery in play. The pale sections accommodate an additional sunburst effect that boosts the intrigue even further, creating a glorious whirlpool of light that really is a joy to mess around with. The complexity is exaggerated by the faceted hour markers, which mystifyingly straddle two grey rings on either side, allowing them to cast shadows on the dial beneath. It's as if they're just hovering there, something I've not seen on a watch before. As if there wasn't enough going on here already, there's a raised minute track encircling everything, with luminescent squares present at each hour, stacking on an extra layer of depth. Without a doubt, this is the most intricate dial that I've seen on an affordable watch that still manages to avoid looking cluttered. I'm generally a minimalist guy with my watches, so it's still a bit busy for my taste. Though unlike such pieces as the clumsily thrown together Spinnaker Flux Chrono, each fragment of this Precisionist has been carefully considered to ensure it contributes to the final look and theme. That includes the handset and movement. The main hands here are very classy alpha pointers, with a dash of lume in the middle and a central strip that extends into a slight rear overhang for added flair. While they're nice, the standout feature here is, without a doubt, the sensational sweeping second hand. The Precisionist name is well and truly earned here, as the high-performance P102 quartz movement delivers a buttery smooth motion that blows everything else at this price point out of the water, far exceeding traditional high-beat automatics and only being topped by the considerably more expensive Grand Seiko spring drive in terms of fluidity. At an insane 262 kHz, or 16 beats per second, this Precisionist is essentially perfectly smooth to the naked eye anyway, gliding along at a rate that looks otherworldly. Not only does it offer one of the cleanest sweeps, but also incredible accuracy of within 10 seconds per year. For comparison, most mechanical watches at this price are lucky to stay within this tolerance per day. When combined with the slim construction, this movement perfectly encapsulates the serious benefits that quartz can offer when executed at a high level. The infinity symbol counterweight on the hand is perhaps a little gimmicky, but overall, this is still a remarkable inclusion at a watch at this price. Unlike a mechanical, under the hood this mechanism isn't particularly glamorous, possibly highlighted by the snapback case which seals it off from the world. I tried to remove the rear to give you a better view, however it's fixed so tightly that I was forced to give up to avoid scratching it. Of course, for under £300 at the time of recording, there's got to be some cut corners, right? Well yeah, there are definitely some aspects that reveal that this is in fact not a true luxury watch. Here there's a basic flat mineral crystal with no decent anti-reflective coating, which is tremendously underwhelming. Frankly, there are no real excuses for this when a switch to the far harder sapphire would have cost a fraction more and would have kept this Bulova looking better for longer. At this price, I think most consumers would happily have paid that marginal difference. Secondly, there's the case. By no means is this a hideous case. If anything, it's quite interesting with a number of varying surfaces and a twin chassis effect showcased on the flanks. It kind of looks like a case upon a case, a bit like this Lotus from the 1980s. Nevertheless, the finishing is subpar for the money, with a series of rounded edges where more precise ones would have been preferable, as well as an overall standard of brushing and polishing that looks like it's been done on a budget. From range, you wouldn't notice, but when side by side with some less expensive Chinese brand watches, this disparity is immediately apparent. There are a couple of other minor things. The crown showcases a unique wavy texture that replicates the dial, but that is slightly offset with the guards, and the strap, while comfortable, is also quite plasticky, so may degrade quicker than you'd like, but it's not the worst I've seen. Additionally, all that dial text is just stamped on in a basic fashion. Despite these flaws, I can honestly say that this Bulova looks more luxurious than most luxury watches that I've seen in jewelers' windows over the years, at least at the distance that you'd be viewing someone's wrist from. Of course, at a macro level, it's probably a different story. It's definitely the most expensive looking sub £300 watch that I've ever come across. The quality control on this unit seems fine too, with no apparent flaws. Therefore, if you're shamelessly after an affordable but expensive looking watch to flex with, then this Precisionist is, quite frankly, a no-brainer. If it fits you, that is. While thin, this remains a large watch at 42mm across, and with a lug-to-lug of 49mm, it won't be viable if you've got thinner wrists. It also won't be any good if it disappears entirely. You see, the final caveat is availability. Many sites have this particular model down as discontinued, meaning that availability could be limited. I'll try to keep the description link updated, but you may find yourself having to explore some of the other Precisionist watches to fill that expensive looking void. If none tickle your fancy, then the elusive Casio Oceanus collection could make for a viable alternative for a slight price increase. Is it the world's highest quality Casio? Tap the video on screen now to find out for yourself.